The grand chamber of the Galactic Scientific Council hung suspended in space, a crystalline structure that housed the most brilliant minds of 1,000 civilizations. Through its transparent walls, the stars shone like distant promises, taunting those who wished to reach them. At the center of the chamber, Dr. Sarah Chen's hologram stood steady, her dark eyes reflecting the same determination that had driven humanity to the stars. Distinguished members of the council, she began, her voice clear despite the subtle distortion of faster-than-light communication. I stand before you today not to challenge your wisdom, but to share a discovery that could reshape our understanding of spacetime itself. The council members stirred, their various forms, from the crystalline archons to the gaseous veil, shifting in what could only be described as collective skepticism. They had heard such claims before, from countless species across countless centuries. High Counselor Zurix, his metallic scales gleaming under the chamber's ambient light, leaned forward. Dr. Chen, your species has barely mastered interplanetary travel. The laws of physics are not suggestions to be overcome by mere determination. Faster-than-light travel is impossible. This has been proven by civilizations far more advanced than humanity. Sarah's hologram flickered slightly as she suppressed a smile. For 3 years, she and her team at the Titan Research Station had worked in secret, protected by the very dismissiveness of these ancient species. While they debated the impossibility of her theories, the prototype ship Phoenix was already undergoing its final tests in Jupiter's shadow. With respect, High Counselor, she responded, pulling up a series of equations that danced through the chamber like cosmic fireflies. We're not trying to break the laws of physics. We're working with them in ways you haven't considered. Our quantum folding theory doesn't attempt to exceed light speed. It creates a localized bubble of space-time that. Enough. The interruption came from Ambassador Catal of the Nexus Collective, his neural tendrils writhing in agitation. We have reviewed similar proposals for millennia. Your mathematics, while creative, ignore fundamental barriers that cannot be overcome. This council's time is valuable, Dr. Chen. We suggest your species focus on more attainable goals. As the council members nodded in agreement, Sarah thought of the message waiting in her secure quantum cache. Just hours before this presentation, her deputy director Marcus Wong had sent the preliminary results of the Phoenix's latest test. The quantum bubble had held stable for a full 30 seconds, warping space-time exactly as their equations had predicted. I understand your position, Sarah said, maintaining her diplomatic composure. And I thank you for your time. Humanity will continue our research, guided by your wisdom. The formal words tasted bitter, but they served their purpose. Let them think humanity had accepted their limitations. Back at the Titan Research Station, Sarah's consciousness returned to her physical body. She opened her eyes to find Marcus waiting, his dark features animated with excitement. They dismissed us completely, she said, stretching as she stepped out of the neural interface chamber, just as we hoped. Marcus grinned, holding up a tablet displaying a cascade of data. Their loss. The latest modifications to the quantum matrix exceeded all expectations. We're ready for a full-scale test, Sarah. The Phoenix can fly. Sarah walked to the observation deck, gazing out at Jupiter's massive form. Somewhere out there, hidden in the gas giant's complex magnetic field, humanity's greatest achievement waited. The Phoenix wasn't just a ship. It was a declaration. For too long, humanity had been treated as children playing with toys they couldn't understand. The Council's patronizing dismissal would make their success even sweeter. How long until we can initiate the full test sequence? She asked, already running calculations in her head. 24 hours, Marcus replied. We've already begun evacuating non-essential personnel under the guise of a radiation leak. The skeleton crew is ready, and the quantum core is stable. Sarah nodded, watching as a shuttle departed the station, carrying another group of workers to safety. What they were about to attempt was unprecedented. If something went wrong, but no, their calculations were perfect. The simulations had run flawlessly thousands of times. The quantum bubble would work. "Send word to Director Hayes," she said finally. "Tell her to initiate Protocol Omega. It's time to show the galaxy that impossible is just another word for hasn't been done yet." As Marcus hurried away, Sarah remained at the window, her mind racing with possibilities. In less than a day, humanity would either make history or become another cautionary tale about hubris. The Council's warnings echoed in her thoughts, centuries of accumulated wisdom telling her this was folly. But Sarah Chen had never been good at accepting limitations. Tomorrow, the Phoenix would rise, and with it, humanity's place in the galaxy would change forever. Let them laugh now. Soon, they would understand that humanity's greatest strength was its refusal to accept impossible as an answer. The stars beckoned through the station's reinforced windows, and for the first time in human history, they seemed just a little bit closer. The Phoenix hung in space like a sliver of midnight, its quantum alloy hull absorbing what little light reached it in Jupiter's shadow. From the Titan Research Station's command center, Sarah Chen watched as the final preparations were made, her fingers drumming an unconscious rhythm on the holoscreen before her. "All systems are nominal," reported Captain Maya Rodriguez from the Phoenix's bridge, her voice steady despite the historic magnitude of what they were about to attempt. "Quantum core is stable at 98% efficiency. We're ready to begin the sequence on your mark." Sarah glanced at Marcus, who gave a slight nod. The evacuation was complete. Only the essential crew remained at the station. If something went wrong, the casualties would be minimal. If something went right, everything would change. "Captain Rodriguez," Sarah said, her voice carrying the weight of 3 years' preparation, "you have permission to initiate the quantum fold sequence. Good luck, and Godspeed." The bridge of the Phoenix was silent except for the soft hum of instruments as Maya's hands moved across the control interface. Her crew, just 4 others, all volunteers who understood the risks, monitored their stations with unwavering focus. "Beginning quantum core spin-up," Maya announced. T-3 minutes to fold initiation. On the quantum readouts, energy patterns began to shift and swirl, forming patterns that conventional physics said should be impossible. The Phoenix's revolutionary drive wasn't trying to break the light barrier. It was preparing to sidestep it entirely. T-2 minutes. Quantum field stability at optimal levels. In the station's command center, Sarah and Marcus watched as their years of theoretical work transformed into reality. The space around the Phoenix began to shimmer, subtle distortions that their instruments could barely detect. T-1 minute. Beginning final safety protocols. Across the solar system, sensitive instruments began to register anomalous readings. At Earth's quantum observatories, scientists frowned at their displays, trying to understand what they were seeing. In the Kuiper Belt, automated alien monitoring stations stirred to life, their ancient systems detecting something new and potentially threatening. T-30 seconds. Point of no return approaching. Sarah's hands clenched into fists. Every calculation, every simulation, every sleepless night had led to this moment. She thought of the Council's dismissal, their certainty that humanity was reaching beyond its grasp. In seconds, they would learn how wrong they were. T-10 seconds. Quantum field approaching critical density. The space around the Phoenix began to bend, reality itself seeming to fold like paper around the ship's sleek form. Warning alerts flashed across screens in the command center. The energy readings were exceeding their predicted models. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There was no dramatic flash, no thunderous roar. One moment, the Phoenix was there, surrounded by a bubble of distorted space-time. The next, it simply wasn't. For 3 seconds, there was absolute silence in the command center. Then the readings began pouring in. "Signal detected," Marcus shouted, his professional composure cracking. "They've done it. The Phoenix has emerged from quantum fold. Holy shit, they're already past Saturn's orbit." The impossible had happened. A ship had traveled faster than light, not by breaking physics, but by bending it to human will. Sarah allowed herself a moment of pure, unbridled joy before the reality of what came next settled in. "Captain Rodriguez, do you copy?" she called, trying to keep her voice steady. After a moment that felt like eternity, Maya's voice crackled through the quantum comm. "Titan Station. This is Phoenix. All crew present and accounted for. We did it. The fold was successful. We're sending through our telemetry data now." The numbers that appeared on their screens were beyond their most optimistic projections. The quantum fold had worked perfectly, creating a bubble of manipulated spacetime that allowed the Phoenix to cross vast distances almost instantaneously. They hadn't just achieved faster-than-light travel. They'd made it look easy. But their triumph was about to be interrupted. Across the solar system, alien observation posts were going crazy, their automated systems detecting what they had been programmed to consider impossible. On distant worlds, the members of the Galactic Scientific Council were being awakened by urgent messages. Dr. Chen, one of the station's sensor operators, called out, his voice tense, "We're detecting multiple ships entering the solar system. They're coming in fast." Sarah nodded grimly. She had expected this, though perhaps not quite so quickly. The Council wouldn't be able to ignore this. Humanity had just kicked down the door of their exclusive club, and the consequences were about to arrive. "Captain Rodriguez," she transmitted, "initiate Protocol Omega Phase 2. You know where to take the Phoenix. The Council needs to understand that this isn't a fluke or a trick. It's humanity's future." As the Phoenix prepared for another quantum fold, Sarah began composing a message in her mind. The Council had laughed at humanity's ambitions, had dismissed their theories, had treated them like children playing with concepts beyond their understanding. Now it was time to show them exactly what those children could do. The emergency session of the Galactic Scientific Council was chaos. Holograms flickered and flared as representatives from 100 species spoke over each other, their voices ranging from thunderous bellows to crystalline chimes. At the center of the storm stood High Counselor Xerix, his metallic scales now dulled with stress. "Order," he commanded, his voice cutting through the cacophony. "We must maintain order." But order was becoming an increasingly rare commodity in the galaxy. In the 12 hours since the Phoenix had demonstrated its quantum fold drive, the carefully maintained balance of power had begun to crack. Humanity hadn't just achieved the impossible. They had made it look effortless. Ambassador Catole's neural tendrils writhed in agitation as he addressed the Council. "We must contain this situation immediately. The humans cannot be allowed to maintain this technological advantage. The quantum fold drive must be shared with all Council races." Shared? The Archean representative's crystalline form pulsed with indignation. They should be sanctioned for conducting unauthorized experiments with space-time. The potential risks to the entire galaxy are far less severe than our models predicted, interrupted a new voice. Dr. Sarah Chen's hologram appeared in the chamber, this time without waiting for an invitation. "Our telemetry data confirms that the quantum fold creates no lasting damage to spacetime. The Phoenix has now completed 12 successful jumps, each one perfectly controlled and predictable." The Council chamber erupted again. Sarah noted with satisfaction that the tone had shifted from dismissive to demanding. They couldn't ignore humanity now, couldn't pat them on the head and tell them to stick to simple rockets and ion drives. "Dr. Chen," Xerix spoke, his voice carrying the weight of millennia of authority, "your presence here is not." "My presence here is essential," Sarah cut in, "because humanity is no longer content to sit quietly while you decide our fate. The quantum fold drive is ours. We developed it while you laughed at our theories. We perfected it while you dismissed our capabilities. And now we will decide how and when to share it." In the silence that followed, the Veil representative's gaseous form swirled thoughtfully. "The humans speak with unusual confidence for such a young species." "Young doesn't mean incapable," Sarah replied. "In fact, our youth might be exactly why we succeeded where you failed. We didn't know enough to believe it was impossible. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the ripples of humanity's achievement were turning into waves. On the trading world of Nexus Prime, merchants were already speculating on how quantum-fold technology would transform commerce. In the militant Krell Empire, admirals were calculating how this would change the balance of military power. And in countless research institutes, scientists were frantically reviewing humanity's publicly available physics papers, searching for clues they had missed. Back on the Phoenix, Captain Rodriguez and her crew were continuing their test series. Each quantum fold jump was more ambitious than the last, proving that their achievement wasn't a fluke, but a reliable, repeatable process. They had already covered distances that would have taken conventional ships years to traverse. Another jump complete, Maya reported, her voice carried across space by quantum comm. We're now at the edge of the Oort cloud. All systems nominal, quantum core stable at 99% efficiency. Sarah allowed herself a small smile as she faced the council. Distinguished members, humanity is prepared to share our discovery as equals. We will not be treated as subordinates who need supervision. We will not surrender control of our technology, but we are willing to work together to explore the possibilities this breakthrough creates. The council members stirred uneasily. For millennia, they had been the undisputed masters of science and technology in the galaxy. Now, in the space of a day, their position had been challenged by a species they had dismissed as barely more than clever primitives. And if we refuse these terms? Catal asked, his neural tendrils pulsing with suppressed emotion. Then humanity will proceed alone. Sarah replied calmly. The Phoenix isn't our only ship equipped with a quantum fold drive. Even now, we're preparing to launch an entire fleet. We can explore the galaxy without your permission, but we'd rather do it with your cooperation. This wasn't entirely true. The Phoenix was indeed their only quantum fold-capable ship. But Sarah knew that the Council's greatest fear right now was losing control of the situation. Sometimes, the appearance of strength was as important as strength itself. In the depths of space, the Phoenix prepared for another jump. Its quantum core hummed with energy that defied conventional physics, ready to fold space itself around the ship's sleek hull. Humanity had crossed a threshold, and there was no going back. The council chamber was silent as the members communicated in their private channels, weighing options, calculating risks and advantages. Finally, High Counselor Zurich spoke again, his metallic scales shifting to a more neutral hue. Perhaps, he said carefully, it is time for the council to reconsider its position on certain matters. Sarah's hologram stood steady, betraying none of the triumph she felt. This was just the beginning. Humanity hadn't just proven they could achieve the impossible. They had proven they deserved a place among the stars. The Titan research station had transformed in the weeks following the Phoenix's successful test flights. What was once a secretive facility now buzzed with activity as delegations from across the galaxy arrived to begin the carefully negotiated technology exchange program. Sarah Chen watched from her office as a Krell transport ship docked, its crystalline hull refracting sunlight across Jupiter's clouds. The Krell delegation is right on schedule, Marcus noted, reviewing the day's itinerary. Though I'm more concerned about our guests from the Nexus Collective. Their quantum specialists have been asking increasingly specific questions about the core's composition. Sarah nodded, her eyes fixed on the security feeds. The decision to share the quantum fold technology hadn't been unanimous among Earth's governments, but it had been necessary. Better to control the spread of knowledge than risk less advanced civilizations attempting dangerous experiments of their own. Have we confirmed the location of the Arxian probe? She asked, turning to a different display, still maintaining position just outside the heliopause. Marcus replied, They think they're being subtle, but our new sensors can detect their quantum signature analysis attempts. They're trying to reverse engineer the technology just by studying the Phoenix's wake. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. The Arxians, for all their ancient wisdom, still hadn't grasped that the quantum fold drive wasn't just about the technology. It was about understanding how to use it safely. Already, there had been reports of failed experiments in distant systems as various species rushed to replicate humanity's achievement. On the Phoenix, now docked at the station for routine maintenance, Captain Rodriguez was conducting a training session with the first group of alien observers. The ship had become something of a legend, its sleek design studied and admired by engineers from 100 worlds. The key to quantum fold navigation, Maya explained to her diverse audience, isn't just understanding the mathematics. It's about intuitive awareness of space-time topology. You have to feel the fold points, not just calculate them. In the back of the room, a Veil observer's gaseous form swirled with interest. The Veil had been among the first to openly support humanity's position in the Council, perhaps recognizing a kindred spirit of innovation in the younger species. But not all reactions had been so positive. In the shadows of the galaxy, other forces were moving. The Krell Empire's public cooperation masked a deeper agenda. Their military laboratories were working overtime to weaponize the principles behind the quantum fold drive. The Nexus Collective, while officially participating in the exchange program, had dispatched countless autonomous probes to gather data on human ships. Dr. Chen, the voice called from her comm unit, we're detecting unusual quantum fluctuations in Sector 7. Pattern suggests unauthorized scanning attempts. Sarah sighed. Another day, another attempt to steal what couldn't be simply taken. Activate the interference fields. Let's remind our friends that some secrets can't be stolen. They have to be earned. The quantum fold technology had become more than just a means of faster-than-light travel. It had become a symbol of humanity's emergence as a true galactic power. Some species resented this sudden shift in the cosmic hierarchy, while others saw opportunity in alliance with the upstart humans. In her private moments, Sarah sometimes wondered if they had made the right choice in revealing the technology so soon. But she knew that keeping it secret would have only led to more dangerous attempts to replicate it. Better to guide the process, to ensure that when other species developed their own quantum fold drives, they did so safely. New contact, Marcus announced, studying his displays. Large vessel just emerged from fold space near Saturn. Configuration matches. Interesting. It's a Korth science vessel. The Korth, one of the oldest species in the galaxy, had been conspicuously quiet since the Phoenix's first flight. Their arrival now could mean anything from genuine scientific interest to something more problematic. Have they transmitted their intentions? Sarah asked, already calculating possible responses. Yes, and you're going to want to see this, Marcus replied, bringing up the message on the main screen. They're not here to study the quantum fold drive. They say they've detected something in our implementation that could have implications far beyond faster-than-light travel. Sarah read the message, her eyes widening. The Korth scientists claim that humanity's approach to quantum manipulation might hold the key to understanding something they had been studying for millennia, the very nature of consciousness itself. Get me a secure channel to the Phoenix, she ordered, and alert the Council. If the Korth are right about this, we haven't just changed how we travel through space. We might have stumbled onto something far more fundamental about the universe itself. As the messages went out, Sarah walked to her window, watching Jupiter's eternal storm swirl below. Humanity had wanted to prove they belonged among the stars. Instead, they might have proven that they were essential to understanding them. The great observatory of the Korth hung in space like a massive crystalline eye, its arrays of quantum sensors focused on the Phoenix as it prepared for another test jump. But this time, the ship wasn't just demonstrating faster-than-light travel. It was about to attempt something far more profound. Dr. Sarah Chen stood beside Elder Kvorex of the Korth, his ancient form towering over her as they watched the preparations. The last 6 months had transformed humanity's relationship with the galaxy's species, but what they were about to attempt could change everything again. Your species continues to surprise us, Kvorax observed, his multifaceted eyes reflecting the starlight. In seeking to bend space, you may have stumbled upon the very mechanism by which consciousness interacts with reality. Sarah nodded, remembering the moment when the Korth's theories had aligned with their quantum fold data. The human approach to manipulating spacetime had revealed patterns that matched the Korth's ancient models of consciousness, patterns that suggested mind and matter were more deeply connected than anyone had imagined. Phoenix is ready for quantum fold initiation. Captain Rodriguez's voice came through the quantum comm. All modifications are in place. We're prepared to attempt consciousness-guided navigation. The theory was revolutionary. If consciousness itself was quantum in nature, then perhaps the human mind could directly influence the formation and direction of quantum folds. It wasn't just about faster-than-light travel anymore. It was about understanding the fundamental nature of reality itself. In the council chamber, representatives from across the galaxy watched through quantum-linked feeds. Even those species that had initially resisted humanity's rise to prominence now paid rapt attention. The Krell Empire had suspended their weapons research, recognizing that they might be witnessing something far more valuable than military advantage. Beginning quantum core spin-up, Maya announced. Initiating consciousness interface in 3, 2, 1. On the Phoenix's bridge, Maya closed her eyes as the ship's new systems linked directly with her mind. The quantum fold drive hummed to life, but this time it wasn't just responding to calculated coordinates, it was responding to thought itself. The space around the Phoenix began to shimmer, but differently than before. The quantum distortions seemed to pulse with an almost organic rhythm, as if the barrier between mind and matter was becoming transparent. Remarkable, Kvorax whispered, his sensors detecting patterns that confirmed millennia of Korth theoretical work. Your species' determination to achieve the impossible has led you to prove what we have only dreamed. The Phoenix disappeared in a flash of quantum energy, but this time, the fold was different. The sensors showed something unprecedented, a perfect merger of consciousness and quantum mechanics, the human mind directing the ship through spacetime with intuitive precision. When the Phoenix emerged, it wasn't just at its targeted coordinates. It had navigated the quantum fold with a grace and efficiency that pure mathematics could never achieve. The ship had become a true extension of its crew's consciousness, transforming the very nature of space exploration. Phoenix to observatory, Maya's voice came through, filled with wonder. The consciousness interface worked perfectly. I could feel the structure of space-time itself. It was like becoming one with the universe. Sarah turned to Kvorax, seeing in his ancient eyes the recognition of something momentous. This changes everything, doesn't it? The Korth Elder's form shifted, and what she had learned was their equivalent of a smile. Young one, your species has done more than change everything. You have shown us all that the universe is far more wonderful and mysterious than even we, with our millennia of knowledge, had imagined. In the following weeks, the implications of the discovery rippled across the galaxy. The quantum fold drive had been just the beginning. Humanity's unique approach, combining technological innovation with intuitive understanding, had unlocked secrets that the oldest species had only theorized about. The Galactic Scientific Council underwent a transformation of its own. No longer was it a body that simply preserved and regulated knowledge. Under the influence of humanity's discovery, it became a true cooperative, with each species contributing their unique perspectives to understanding the cosmos. Back on the Titan research station, Sarah watched as ships from across the galaxy arrived, not to steal secrets or establish dominance, but to learn and share. The quantum fold technology had evolved into something far greater, a bridge not just between stars, but between mind and matter, between different species, and their unique ways of perceiving reality. Ready for another test flight? Marcus asked, approaching with a tablet full of new data. Sarah smiled, watching as the Phoenix prepared for another jump. You know what? I think we're ready for something much bigger than that. We're ready to truly explore what it means to be conscious beings in an infinite universe. The stars twinkled in Jupiter's shadow, but they no longer seemed distant or unreachable. Humanity had not only proven their worth among the galaxy's ancient species, they had helped reveal that the universe itself was far more magical than anyone had imagined. In seeking to break the light barrier, they had instead broken through to a deeper understanding of reality itself. As the Phoenix engaged its quantum fold drive once more, its crew guided by both mind and mathematics, Sarah thought about how far they had come. From being dismissed as primitive upstarts to helping unlock the secrets of consciousness itself, it was a journey that proved humanity's greatest strength wasn't just their technology or determination. It was their ability to dream of the impossible, and in pursuing those dreams, discover that the impossible was just the beginning.